Why some lessons stick with us for a lifetime while others fade away? Or why certain teachers inspire us while others struggle to engage? The answer often lies in how we communicate, whether it's between teachers and students, among peers, or even within educational leadership. Effective communication has the power to transform the way we learn and grow. So, grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's talk about how communication is shaping the future of education. Today's episode of The Power of Communication in Education. I'm Anne, your host, and I am thrilled to have two incredible guests joining me today, Najwa and Fauzana. Ladies, welcome!
Thank you, Anne. Excited to be here and talk about something so important.
Yes, same here. Communication is at the heart of education, and I'm looking forward to diving into this conversation.
Absolutely. Whether it's students, teachers, parents, or even policymakers, communications plays a vital role in shaping education. Today, we will explore why communication is essential in education, the challenges, the evolving role of technology, and practical ways to enhance communication in learning environments. So let's get started.
I get why communication studies is seen by a lot of people as meaningless or useless as a degree, because after all, it's just a basic thing that people do every day, right? So what's the point of getting a degree or studying it? Well, the study of communications is different from just being someone who can talk well or speak in public. The nature of human communications can be analyzed at multiple levels. So, not only can we study the way we communicate in sending and receiving verbal and nonverbal messages, but also we can understand that the way we communicate is inherently political, cultural, and social within its own processes. Communication studies in the digital age, in my opinion, is more necessary than ever. It's very difficult to discern what is reality from what is constructed, especially within social media. It's so easy to consume information, especially in the digital age and with social media, but without a proper reaction or qualitative response, we often communicate different things than we may originally intend on. The ambiguous nature of social media is a big effect of bad communication, such as ghosting or reacting inappropriately to certain types of messages, such as liking a Facebook post about somebody's family member passing away, which honestly makes no sense if you think about what it means to like something. It's important to understand that the meanings that we assign within social media may not be accurate to the type of communication that is originally intended. Therefore, it's important for us to stay literate in the types of media that we're using, how we're using it, and what we're trying to communicate with each other in order to create a more productive and more progressive conversation and society overall.
So guys, let's start with the basics. Why do you think communication is considered the backbone of education?
That's a great question. Communication is more than just talking. It's about expressing ideas, listening actively, and understanding the perspectives. Education is fundamentally about transferring knowledge, and without effective communication, that process breaks down. Think about it. Teachers communicate concepts, students ask questions, discussion happen, and ideas are exchanged. If communication is weak at any point in this chain, learning suffers. Studies show that students who develop strong communication skills early on perform better academically, socially, and even professionally.
Yes, exactly. And when we talk about communication in education, we're not just talking about teachers delivering lectures. It's a two-way street. It includes student engagement, collaboration, peer interactions, feedback, and even non-verbal cues. So, communication fosters critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity, all of which are essential in today's world. So, there's a recent report from the National Association of College and Employers, NACE 2022, found that 91.2% of employers ranked communication skills as a top factor when hiring recent graduates. So this proves that communication isn't just about passing exams, it's about preparing students for the real world.
Wow, I love that point. In the reference document we reviewed, one key theme was that communications helps develop the whole person. It's not just about academics but also emotional intelligence, social skills, and career readiness. When students are taught how to communicate effectively, they learn how to collaborate, resolve conflicts, and build meaningful relationships. Skills that are essential in every aspect of life.
Yes, and it starts from early education. When children learn to express themselves effectively, they build confidence. Research shows that students who are confident communicators are more likely to participate in class discussions, engage with their peers, and take leadership roles in school activities. Later in life, these skills help in professional settings, whether it's a teamwork, leadership, or even a job interview. A 2018 studies by the American Psychology Association (APA) found that the communication skills were 20% more likely to perform well in group projects and 30% more likely to succeed in job interviews than those who are struggled with communication. Who are struggled with communication. That's a huge advantage.
That's a great segue into our next point. Let's talk about how communication impacts different levels of education. Is it primary, secondary, and higher education? How does it evolve across this stage?
So in primary education, communication is about helping students articulate thoughts, listen actively, and collaborate with others. So young learners are still developing their language skills. So teachers play a huge role in modeling effective communication. Storytelling, classroom discussions, and interactive activities are used to enhance these skills. There's an interesting statistic here. According to a report by the National Institute for Literacy 2019, children who develop strong oral communication skills by age 5 are twice as likely to be strong readers by third grade. So that just goes to show how foundational communication is to overall learning.
That's really interesting. As students move into secondary education, communication shifts to include peer interaction, debates, group projects, and also public speaking. At this stage, students are developing their ability to argue, persuade, and also negotiation. And all important skills in both academic and real-world settings. However, a survey by the National Education Association (NEA) from 2020 found that 60% of middle and high school students feel anxious about public speaking. This highlights the need for educators to create a supportive environment and that encourage students to express their ideas confidently.
That's a significant point. So many students struggle with communication anxiety, especially in public speaking situations. And how about higher education?
In higher education, communication is about critical thinking, academic writing, and also professional communication. Students must be able to express complex ideas clearly both in writing and speaking. Research paper, presentations, and also discussions all require precision, clarity, and confidence. And let's not forget digital communication. is a major part of modern education. Universities now rely on online learning platforms, emails, and also virtual discussion. According to a 2021 study by EDUCAUSE, 76% of university students says that their ability to communicate online is just as important as their in-person communication skills.
There's such an important insight. The way we communicate has evolved, and students today need to be proficient in both verbal and digital communication. In fact, digital literacy is now considered a fundamental skill alongside traditional literacy. So, to sum up this section, communication isn't just a tool, it's a fundamental skill that shapes students academically, socially, and professionally. Whether it's in primary, secondary, or higher education, strong communication skills enhance learning, collaboration, and career success. Now, let's talk about the challenges. What are some of the biggest communication barriers in education today?
One major challenge is miscommunication. Students might misunderstood instructions, or teachers might not effectively convey complex topics.
Miscommunication can indeed hinder the learning process. For instance, a study published in the Online Journal of Communication and Media Technologies highlight that barriers exist in classroom communication, leading to misunderstandings and reduced learning outcomes.
So, another issue is the lack of active listening. Sometimes students feel unheard, which can lead to disengagement. Teachers too may struggle to interpret student feedback effectively.
Active listening is crucial. The University of Waterloo Centre for Teaching Excellence emphasizes that focusing on a personal agenda or experiencing information overload can hinder effective listening, effective classroom communication. The reference study also mentioned cultural and social barriers. Different backgrounds, languages, and perspectives can create communication gaps.
Exactly. A diverse classroom is a wonderful thing, but it requires cultural sensitivity. The teachers must use inclusive language and encourage open discussion to bridge these gaps.
Language barriers are significant in diverse classrooms. A study in the European Journal of Education and Pedagogy found that foreign students in Gujarat, India face challenges due to language differences impacting their academic activities.
And let's not forget the role of technology. While digital tools have improved education, they can also create distractions and reduce face-to-face interaction.
Technology indeed presents a double-edged sword. The University of Waterloo notes that information overload from excessive stimulation can make it difficult to maintain full attention, effective communication. For now, how do we overcome these communication barriers?
Alright, active listening is the key. Teachers should check for understanding, encourage students to participate, and use multiple ways to explain concepts.
Active listening fosters trust and broadens perspectives. Strategies like maintaining eye contact and providing feedback can enhance this skill.
And empathy matters. Understanding student challenges and creating a safe space for communication makes a huge difference.
Empathy in communication involves being aware of one's thought and body language, which can improve interaction and reduce misunderstandings. revolutionized communication in education. It's changing how we teach, how students learn, and even how we interact with each other. Let's explore how it's shaping learning experience. Najwa, what are your thoughts?
Well, digital tools like video conferencing, online forums, and also educational apps have made learning more accessible. Students can now attend classes from anywhere in the world, access unlimited educational resources, and even collaborate with peers across different time zones. But here's the thing. These tools are required digital literacy. So if students and teachers don't know how to use them effectively, they can create more confusion than clarity.
That's so true. Technology has removed geographical barriers, but it also comes with challenges. Fozana, what's your take on this?
I actually agree with Najwa. Platforms like Zoom, Google Classroom, and Microsoft Teams have enhanced connectivity, but they can also depersonalize interactions. A face-to-face classrooms has a natural engagement, such as body language, eye contact, spontaneous discussions, but in a virtual setting, those elements can get lost. Sometimes it feels like you're just talking to a screen, which can lead to disengagement.
That's an interesting perspective. So, do you both think technology has improved or weakened communication skills?
Both. It's improved accessibility and collaboration. I'm no doubt of it. Students can share ideas instantly, work on projects remotely, and communicate through multiple channels. But at the same time, it's reduced patience for in-depth conversation. We live in a world of quick text, voice notes, and emojis. People now struggle with long-form discussions and meaningful dialogues. The art of deep, thoughtful communication is slowly fading.
Exactly, and this is particularly evident in how students interact. Before, if you needed help with an assignment, you had to meet a classmate after school or have a long discussion in the library. Now, it's just a quick text. Hey, what's the answer to question 5? No discussion, no learning process, just a shortcut to the answer.
That's a great point. Technology is making things faster, but sometimes at the cost of depth. Do you think digital literacy should be part of the school curriculum?
Absolutely. Schools teach traditional literacy such as reading and writing, but digital literacy is just as important. Students need to know how to communicate effectively online or how to interpret tone in text messages and emails, and how to engage in meaningful discussions in digital spaces.
I will go even further and say digital etiquette should also be taught. Online communication can sometimes feel impersonal, and that leads to misunderstandings. A casual K in a text might be fine between friends, but in an email to a teacher or an employer, it could come off as rude or dismissive. These are nuances that students need to be aware of.
That's a brilliant point. Let's dive into some specific benefits of technology in educational communication. Najwa, what's one advantage did you see?
Alright, so one big advantage is personalized learning. Digital tools allow students to learn at their own pace. Platforms like Khan Academy or Duolingo adapt to individual progress, offering more practice where needed. This is great for students who struggle in traditional classroom settings.
Another benefit is collaborative learning. Google Docs, online discussion boards, and virtual study group allow students to work together, even if they they are in different locations. This fosters teamwork and prepares students for the kind of remote collaboration that they will face in the professional world.
And let's not forget accessibility. Technology has made education more inclusive. Students with disabilities can use screen readers, speech-to-text software, or even virtual reality tools to engage in learning. This wasn't possible in a traditional classroom alone.
Absolutely. And another advantage, instant feedback. In traditional education, students might wait days or even weeks to get feedback on assignments. Now, with automated quizzes, interactive apps, and AI tutors, feedback is immediate, allowing students to improve faster.
Wow, so we have established some major benefits: personalized learning, collaboration, accessibility, and instant feedback. But what about the challenges? What are some of the biggest drawbacks?
Okay, so one major issue is the digital divide. So as we all know, not all students have equal access to technology. Some may not have laptops or stable internet connections at home, which can actually put them into a disadvantaged situation.
Exactly. Another challenge is information overload. With so much content available, students may struggle to filter credible sources from unreliable ones. Misinformation spreads quickly and without proper guidance. Students might take incorrect information as a fact.
That's a real issue, especially with the rise of AI-generated content. What about the impact on teacher-student relationship?
There's another downside. In a tech-heavy classroom, there's often less human connection. A teacher who used to walk around the classroom and observe students' body language and provide personalized guidance might now just be staring at a screen full of muted microphones.
And it's not just about teachers. Student-to-student interaction are also affected. So classroom debates, group discussion, and even casual hallway conversations, these are very crucial for these kids' social development. If everything is online, students will miss out on these organic moments of learning.
So, it sounds like the challenge is finding a balance using technology as a tool rather than a replacement for human interaction. What are some solutions?
For one, schools should implement hybrid approach, a mix of online and in-person interactions. Instead of replacing all discussion with digital forums, all teachers could have students start a discussion online and then continue it in the classroom.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Another solution is teaching students to use technology responsibly. So instead of banning phones in class, for example, educators could teach students when and how to use them appropriately.
That makes sense. And perhaps teachers themselves need ongoing training to adapt to digital tools while maintaining engagement. Some educators are still struggling with technology, which can widen the gap instead of bridging it.
Absolutely. Professional development is the key. Teachers need to be comfortable using new technology if they are expected to integrate it into their lessons effectively.
To wrap this up, technology in education has huge potential. It enhances learning, makes education more accessible, and prepares students for a digital future. But it also comes with challenges: disengagement, digital divides, and loss of deep communication. The key is balance, using technology to support, not replace human interaction.
Exactly. It's not about rejecting technology. It's about using it wisely to enhance and not diminish the communication.
And the responsibility lies with educators, students, and also parents to ensure that technology is a tool for learning, not a barrier to connection.
Well said, and that brings us to the end of this segment. In our next discussion, we will dive into practical strategies to enhance communication in education. Stay tuned! Alright, let's get practical. We have talked about the importance of communication.
Human beings are social animals. We constantly interact with people and other elements of the society. We share our ideas, thoughts and information verbally and non-verbally. Therefore, communication plays a very important role. It is the key to success, be it in relationships, workplace, social life, or even as a citizen. It makes a whole world of difference in how you portray yourself to the world. Communication plays a very important role in a person's life, be it a student, professional, political leaders, or even if you are the person next door. When it comes to your professional life, communication plays an integral role. Any profession involves a great deal of interaction with various parties like clients, vendors, superiors, subordinates, and customers. In a work setup, effective communication helps in coordinating the work of different employees and reduces overlapping of work. It helps in building a team by fostering genuine connections between the team members. It increases productivity and employee loyalty by ensuring a warm work environment and cordial relationship with the management. Effective communication also helps in managing diversity, managing conflicts, and maintaining a smooth client relationship. Good communication skills are not just required to excel in corporate jobs. There are many professions which are largely dependent on communication. A teacher has to be an effective communicator so that her knowledge and ideas reach the students. An artist should be able to communicate his thoughts through his art both verbally and non-verbally. In sports, being successful depends on teamwork and coordination, for which communication is essential. A good politician should be able to inspire others to follow his lead. Communication can make or break a leader. Therefore, in today's world of cutthroat competition, proper communication is necessary to be successful in any field of endeavor. You might have great ideas that could change the world upside down. But the world will know it only if you have the ability to showcase it.
And the challenges come with it. Now, let's dive into solutions. What are some strategies educators can use to improve communication in their classrooms?
One of the best approaches is interactive methods like debates, storytelling, and role-playing. To make learning more engaging, when students actively participate, they retain information better and develop their verbal communication skills naturally.
That's a great point. Studies have shown that students who engage in active learning retain up to 75% of their information compared to just 5% with passive listening. Role-playing, for instance, is used in leadership and medical training because it helps learners apply knowledge in real-world scenarios. And storytelling is particularly powerful. When a lesson is framed as a story, students connect emotionally, making it easier to remember the key points. Fauzana, what is another strategy?
So another great approach is student-led discussions. When students take charge of discussions, they can develop their confidence, leadership, and their critical thinking skills. So instead of the teachers always leading, students can prepare and present topics, facilitating conversations among their peers.
I love that. It's a shift from traditional teacher-centered instruction to a student-centered approach. Research suggests that when students are actively involved in discussions, their problem-solving and teamwork skills improve by 32% compared to those who just listen passively. Plus, peer-to-peer learning builds trust and collaborations in the classroom. But what about feedback? It's one of the most critical parts of communication in education. How should teachers give effective feedback?
So feedback should be specific, constructive and timely. Instead of just saying, "Good job," explain why it was good and how to improve further. For example, instead of "math presentation," a teacher should say, "Your presentation had strong supporting evidence, but you could slow down a bit to emphasize key points."
There's an important distinction. Generic praise can feel empty while specific feedback helps students grow. Research from Harvard University's Project Zero found that when students receive clear, actionable feedback, they are 40% more likely to improve their performance in future assignments.
Exactly, and let's not forget that feedback should be two-way. So teachers should also encourage students to give feedback on their teaching methods. And when students feel heard, they will be more engaged and motivated.
There's such an underrated point. Many teachers assume feedback is only for students, but teachers also need insights from their learners. A survey from the National Education Association (NEA) found that 84% of teachers who receive student feedback adjust their teaching methods to better suit their students' needs. That's a win-win. Let's shift gears. How can teachers improve nonverbal communication in the classroom?
Well, body language is crucial. Teachers should maintain eye contact, use open gestures, and move around the classroom to engage students. If a teacher stands stiffly behind a podium, students may tune out. But if they walk around, use facial expressions, and show enthusiasm, students will stay more engaged.
That makes so much sense. Studies show that 55% of communication is nonverbal, which means students pick up more from body language than from words alone. A teacher's tone, posture, and expressions can make the difference between an exciting lesson and a boring one. What about technology? We discussed earlier how tech can be both a tool and challenge. How can teachers use technology to enhance communication rather than to get it?
Great question. So one way is through interactive online platforms like Padlet, Flipgrid, and discussions boards, where students can express themselves in ways they might not in a live classroom. So some students are shy about speaking up in class, but they may feel more comfortable writing out their thoughts in a discussion forum.
That's such a valid point. A study by the Journal of Online Learning found that introvert students are 60% more likely to participate in digital discussions compared to traditional classroom discussions. Technology can actually bridge communication gaps when used correctly. Najwa, what are some practical ways educators can ensure technology complements rather than replace human interaction?
I already say that the key is balance. Educators should use technology as supplement, not as substitute. For example, a teacher can introduce a topic with a digital tool, like a short YouTube explainer video, but follow it up with in-class discussion, debates, and or maybe a group activities to deepen understanding. Also, setting clear technology etiquette rules helps. For example, if students use laptops in class, they should be required to take notes instead of browsing social media. Teachers can use classroom management tools to keep students engaged.
I love that approach. Blended learning, where tech and traditional methods work together, seems to be the best model. Now, let's talk about communication outside the classroom. How can teachers and parents work together to support students?
That's a great question. So regular parent-teacher communication is a key. Parents should not only hear from teachers when there's a problem. There should be ongoing discussions about students' progress. Schools can use email updates, messaging apps, and even parent-teacher conferences to keep communication flowing.
And yes, teachers should also encourage parents to talk to their kids about what they learned at school. Simple questions like, what was the most interesting thing you learned today? Can spark discussions that reinforce classroom learning.
That's such a good tip. Studies show that students whose parents are actively involved in their education perform 30% better than those without that support. Communication between schools and parents and also students forms a strong support system for learning. Alright, let's summarize the strategies we have discussed today. First, interactive learning, debates, storytelling, and role-playing. Second, student-led discussion, giving students a voice. Third is constructive, two-way feedback, both students and teachers improve. Fourth, non-verbal communication, body language and engagement matter. Fifth, balanced technology use enhancing, not replacing human connection. Sixth, stronger parent-teacher communication, building a support network for students. Final thoughts, Najwa?
So, communication isn't just about speaking. It's about listening, engaging, and also adapting. If educators prioritize clear, meaningful communication, students will feel more connected and motivated to learn.
And Fauzana?
Every classroom is different, but communication is the foundation of all learning, whether through words, gestures, or technology. How we communicate shapes what we learn.
Beautifully said. That wraps up our discussions, enhancing communication in education. Thank you, Najwa and Fauzana, for sharing your insights, and to our listeners, what are your thoughts? How do you see communication shaping education? Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, keep learning and keep communicating. Bye!